I appreciate all of you very much. Just as a heads up, again, the poetry analytical review, it's hard. It was going to be hard. A lot of it comes from not necessarily just breaking down the poem, but validating our points. That happens a lot. I see this. This is always why I'm warning you. I'm like, just so you know, you might not get the grade you want. That just happens. And I know I got a lot of teachers here. And if you're like me, an A or nothing, right? Like I get that. I get that. But don't worry, we have plenty to work with here. That, any kind of rough grade that came from this particular assignment, I promise you, we're going to get through it. But majority of this is also kind of like what I've learned as a student are just little lessons, maybe things we might have forgotten, or maybe things that, that one box we didn't check, which is always frustrating. I totally, totally get it. As you all continue on your journey through academics, you're going to see this happen. And I know, I feel you, I get it. So I had to warn you, don't panic. If you didn't get the grade that you wanted, you now kind of see a little bit more of my grading. And when we talk about things like historical or cultural context, the goal behind here is just so that, like, if we see something like in My Daughter and Apple Pie, and we see that the daughter's wearing sunglasses during winter inside, how do we know that that usually signals something's wrong, like abuse, right? Like whether it's, usually abuse with a spouse or a partner. How do we know that? What's the cultural context in that? Like, how do you know and how do I know? That's what it symbolizes. That's what I mean when I say cultural context, or what the mirror saw. When I'm looking for historical context too, why does it matter that Clifton uses the dialogue that she uses? What's the cultural and historical aspect of that? Why is that important? Because most times people who are, Black writers, to use that type of vernacular is usually pushed against, right? Anyway, so these are the things that I look for. And it's hard, right? This first time we've ever done this analytical review. Again, don't panic, right? There's always that first attempt in learning, okay? So yeah, as we move forward, just think of things like that. The next assignment is going to be much easier and a lot more fun. And as we move forward, maybe if I see a way that'll work better, especially as we do the dramas and the films, what can we do that really shows me your understanding of the material? So anyway, thank you all. You've all worked very hard. Trust me. It was like days of grading, mostly because I wanted to give you as much feedback as possible. So again, don't panic at your grade. I promise you we will get through this. And I'm not here to, I'm not here to harm you. I'm here to help. That's my goal. Okay. And if it's not something you want to see in a grade, because I get it. Work with me. We'll get through it. I promise. And again, this is just part of literature. It's a little bit of a learning experience. So anyway, poetry's hard. Poetry's a hard one. I get that. Again, you've got this.